hot topics of the day. Zion Williamson and Duke. What a traveling circus out there, Teddy. 30, 10, and 5 last night in Duke's rout of Wake Forest. Moves to 13-1 overall in the season, a 2-0 ACC start. Teddy, those Duke Blue Devils out there, some interesting betting implications and a little bit of fun if you're watching those Duke Blue Devils last night.
Oh, yeah, of course. You know, the number bouncing 21, 21 and a half all day. And then Wake, let's see, Sharon Wright missed a free throw. He turned the ball over. Torrey Johnson missed a layup. And then at the end, Michael Wynn missed the jumper. Any one of those shots fall. Wake gets the money, but the missed free throw, the turnover, the missed layup, the three-point jumper, and the dunk by Marcus Bolden. Guess what? Duke wins by 22, plus 21 and a half. Not so good. Duke heading on the road to face number 13 Florida State this coming Saturday.
Hey, Teddy, if you take a look at this ball game, which is always a conundrum for cappers as we look at it, because you always are going to leave, most of the time those last 5 minutes to a little bit of chance when you're laying 20 points, because it's no longer outside the realm where you're fouling in the last 2 to 3 minutes, or if you need some extra hoops there, you might be dealing with the 12th and 13 guy coming in on the bench. Duke carried a lead of 25 into the second half. You saw it evaporate, come back, and end up covering. Just real quick, Teddy, on your capping analysis here, when you have a line of 20 to 30, of course we want to be up 40 points and have an easy cover. But does that take anything into effect when you say, well, who might be coming into this basketball game, especially, Teddy, with Florida State on tilt? Maybe you want to rest some of those guys to make sure you're rested and ready to play Florida State up here on Saturday.
Yeah, certainly with Florida State on tap, that's a theory. But the bottom line is I don't do a lot with 20-plus point road favorites in college hoops. I can't tell you the last time I laid 20-plus points on the highway. It's not in my wheelhouse because of situations like this. There tends to be a lot of randomness at the end of these ball games. When I get involved with a 20-plus point favorite, especially on the road, I'm much more likely to make it a first half wager. And then if that doesn't come through, I may well come back and bet them in game or bet them in the second half. But for the full game, those aren't bets that I make very often.
NBA action, Teddy. We are gamblers here, and this is that gambling show, that betting show, that everything show, if you want to call it, at sportsbookreview.com. DeMarcus Cousins says, Teddy, January 18th, I'm coming back, and I'm trying to get after my title run here and get a ring on my finger. Golden State 27-14 and second in the Western Conference here. If we're looking at moving forward here, sometimes look, they have a really nice structure in Golden State. They run a fast up-tempo offense. Now you're going to throw a big man into the equation, Teddy. Are we seeing this as a blessing in disguise for Golden State moving forward, or could it slow down the tempo? And we all know Boogie Cousins, not the greatest locker room guy if things aren't going his direction here.
Yeah, I mean, Boogie Cousins as a 20-year-old is not the same as Boogie Cousins as a veteran like he is now. And I think that's very clear. It was clear when the Warriors signed him. And when it comes to his character, it's a guy that just wanted to win. And it really feels that way for his career. I think Boogie Cousins in general has gotten a bad rep. That being said, when you think about the Warriors from a betting standpoint, Cousins is not here to win games in January. He's not here to win games in February or March. Comes to April and May and June that he's here for. The remainder of the regular season for the Warriors with Cousins will be, how do we get him acclimated? How do we get our spacing right? It's not about margins. It's not about even necessarily winning games and getting the number 1 seed. That's not Golden State's priority. Their priority is getting the roster meshed together for the postseason. I think there'll be ample opportunity to bet against the Warriors when Cousins comes back, at least short term, because the market's likely to say Golden State's better when, in fact, short term, they're probably going to be a little bit worse.
Hey, Teddy, we like to take a look at, futures lining up and how it's going to impact there. Obviously, Golden State is a huge favorite out there in the Western Conference and also to win the NBA. How about talking a little bit of value? Hey, Teddy, you got any value at a minus 160 to win the NBA title? Talk about value on that one, Teddy.
Sure. I mean, again, there's 29 other teams. You're laying minus 160 with one. Steph Curry gets hurt, you're now a dog. Period. Draymond Green or whoever. So I don't know that I think I bet a future on the Pistons in like 2004 when they got Sheed Wallace. I'm not betting NBA futures very often. Okay. It's a bad market. There's zero value, whether you want the long shots or the favorite. The favorite wins. in the NBA playoffs. You know, we talk about 7-game series. The better team tends to come out. This isn't the NFL where you get the upsets on a regular basis, or MLB where a team can get hot. So the chalk wins, laying -160 in January for the championship in June with the Warriors. No, that's not value. I have zero NBA futures in my pocket right now, and I don't plan on buying one anytime soon.
Yeah, it's crazy to see a prohibitive favorite that much with that much season left to go. You never know what could take place there. Let's get into the NFL real quick. A lot of coaching carousel, Teddy. And even when we were punching up the script for that betting show a little bit earlier today, even more hires coming down the line here. Tampa Bay gets Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles in a package deal. Looks like Leftwich's going to come along also as an offensive coordinator. Selling that package deal to Tampa Bay moving forward, I think was a pretty good investment for them. If we look at Tampa Bay last year, Teddy, 7-2 against the spread. And then if we take a look at another interesting hire, Cliff Kingsbury goes from we don't play any defense at Texas Tech, but I'm an offensive genius, to getting fired, to going to offensive coordinator at USC under Helton, and recruiting, getting his offense in order, and all of a sudden plucked away and going to the Arizona Cardinals. Also, if you missed it in the meantime here, Browns hire Freddie Kitchens, an inside hire, and the Bears' Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator, goes out as the head coach for the Denver Broncos. But interesting in that, Gary Kubiak going to come out of the front office to coach the offense there. Talk a little bit about some of these coaching changes, Teddy, maybe some that you agree with or maybe disagree with.
All right, let's start with the 4 coaches that have, Bruce Arians hired, Cliff Kingsbury hired, Freddie Kitchens hired, Vic Fangio hired, and it looks like Mike McCarthy may well go to the Packers. Those 5, let's give all 5. Over, under, total playoff wins from those 5 before they get fired. 3.5? Nah, that's high. 2.5? Nah, that's high. 1.5? What do you think, Donnie?
Yeah. Going into some
coaches,
interesting moves
how many playoff wins did they get? Let me ask you. Yeah, over, under, 2.5. What are you on?
I'm going to say, you know what? I'll lean towards the over in that one. I'll lean towards the over before they get canned.
Because it's Kitchens, right. Right. Yeah, the Browns are poised to win some playoff games. And look, when we talk about these NFL coaches, every new coach is always better than the guy that they just left. Bruce Arians, run out of town. Cliff Kingsbury, run out of town. Mm-hmm. Mike McCarthy, run out of town. Vic Fangio, 19 years of coordinator, never been a head coach. Wonder why. Freddie Kitchens, offense coordinator, he had 6 games as that or 8 games as that. Now he's the head coach. There's not a lot of great candidates out there. This is what we end up with. We'll see. The bottom line is the more talented rosters will have more success, regardless of the head coach. And the Browns.
Absolutely. Yep. And the NFL, I mean, as is in hockey and basketball, you're hired to be fired. These guys are highly compensated. So don't feel bad for them. They will land on their feet somewhere with a multi-million-dollar golden parachute. Teddy, as we saw the NCAA football season come to a close, we sort of hang our head, pour a little bit out for the good guys there. We'll see again in August. But it seems like when one betting window closes, one always appears on the horizon. And many of us aren't golfers. But yes, the 2019 PGA season is underway here, Teddy, in bright, sunny, warm, beautiful Hawaii. And if we take a look at just some of the ticker information there, Justin Thomas, a plus 550 is favored to win the tournament. 2018 champion Patton Kazari is going to return to defend it. Look, we're going to see look, you get lucky, Teddy. You're out there on the West Coast. You're living in Las Vegas. You're getting some nice weather. We're buried over here in the East Coast. It's cold. It's 30 degrees. We get to see a little bit of golf on TV from Hawaii to it feels nice, and you might be able to get some bets in. I'm not a big guy in gambling with golf, but I don't know if you are or not, but just nice to see another betting window open up for us gamblers, Teddy.
Sure, and look, it never ends. If you don't have golf, you have the tennis season starting, and then the auto racing season starts. When you talk about periphery sports, there's always something going on. And when you talk about the periphery sports, I'm telling you, if you specialize, if you focus on golf, I don't. If you focus on it, it's beatable. The matchups to this day, the guys that I know that do their work in golf, they beat the matchups on a week in, week out basis. That's the way I'd attack it. Forget who's going to win the tournament. Work in your matchups. That's where the pros get involved at the biggest stage in golf, with the biggest wagers, I should say, when they bet golf.